G'day YouTube viewer, g'day bikers. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Just want to do a short video today to talk about the cost of ownership of a Honda GB350. Going to go on a little dirt road in a minute just to do something a little bit different, although looking ahead maybe they've sealed this recently. Won't be able to tell till I get there. Just looks like a bit of a blacktop on there now. Last time I went on this was dirt. So this will be interesting. Anyway, cost of ownership of a GB350. This is the R model. We get the R model in Australia and also the GB350C model, which is the classic version. Wraparound mudguard, split seat, pea-shooter exhaust, different dash, a better looking dash, and what looks like a larger light. Not sure it is, but it just looks that way. So it's a heavier bike because there's a lot more metal in terms of more metal mudguard and things like that. This has got metal everywhere as well, but it's just wrap around on the C model. I love the look of this bike because the exhaust in particular and the shape of the tank and everything else reminds me of the Hondas from the early 1970s I used to ride. Anyway, so the cost of ownership, talking about that C model, it has dropped $1,000 since it came out at the beginning of this year. So it's only about $100 or $200 more than the GB350R now. But both bikes are very affordable to buy new in Australia, as is the GB350S in Europe. And of course all the models in Japan. And of course the Highness in India as well. Haven't been up this road before, so I'm not sure what it's going to end up looking like. Actually, just while I'm here, let's do no traffic coming behind me. Let's do a quick walk around before we talk about the affordability. Isn't it just a magnificent looking motorcycle? Just looks like the bikes from the early 70s, which is why I love this model more than the other two. The S being the more sporty version, the C being the more classic. The R, to me, R stands for roadster, and that's exactly what this is. And looks like the road bikes I used to ride in the late 70s and early 80s, I should say. No one coming? Okay. First of all, let's have a quick listen to that exhaust. Get back on and we'll talk about that cost of ownership. Make sure the video is still going. Hope this one works out. This will also be the last time I record voice this way. I bought a new camera and new microphones to try something different, which I think will give me much better exhaust noise in the next video I do. Anyway, so they're very affordable to buy, long service intervals, Rego, compulsory third party and comprehensive insurance on this bike, very affordable as well, being only 350 cc's, much more affordable than my larger bikes, my 650s and 3-litre bikes and Harley Davidson. Just going to go slow because it means you won't get much wind noise and you can hear the sound of the motor a bit better. I haven't been up this road before. Been to the T intersection here a while ago, but that's about it. Now, in the first 1,000 kilometres, when we talk about affordability, the bike when I bought it came brand new with a full tank of fuel, which not all dealers do, but in the case of this Honda dealership they did. Just been washed this bike, so I'm just going to go very slow there. And I didn't have to fill it up till nearly 500 kilometres, and then I filled it up just before 1,000 kilometres when it was due for its first service. So in the first 1,000 k's it only took 2 full tanks, and the second time I filled it up it only took 13 litres, and it's a 15-litre tank, so I think it only used 26 or 27 litres in the first 1,000 kilometres. So very frugal, runs on the smell of an oily rag, absolutely brilliant. And then of course we've got to talk about the cost of servicing. As I mentioned, the service intervals are quite long. I did a video talking about that, which I'll link to the end of this one if you want to see servicing and things like that. One lane, a floodway, okay. Alrighty. Red Cedar Lane. I'm not sure which way to go here. We might go straight ahead. Yes, so in terms of fuel economy, fuel consumption doesn't get much better, doesn't get much more frugal than that. And so that brings us to servicing costs. Now I can talk about the first 1,000 kilometre service, the bike getting run in, which I rode the bike most during that period, and even though Riding Hood will be riding it more now than I will, I'll probably hardly ride it at all now because I don't want to keep stealing her bike from her. I'll just pull over and let this car past. But and so I was running it in. I didn't ride it hard at all, but I certainly didn't go slow all the time as well. I took it on freeways, highways, but mostly A and B roads, and a few lanes like this one as well, and a few dirt roads. Bruce Springs, okay. I love going on a road for the first time. And so when I took it to the dealer for the first service, oil, consumables, things like that, labour. Oh, we're going to get quite steep here in a moment. It came out at under $300, so less than half the cost it cost me to do the same service on the Harley a few months before. So that's pretty damn good, I thought. Wow, beautiful. Yeah, so under $300. The Harley was about $650. It's more than $30,000 to buy new that bike, so I expect it to be a lot more, and I was quite happy with that. And this one definitely not as much as my leader bikes, my 3 litre bikes, and my 650 dirt bike to service. $50 to $100 cheaper than those. So when it comes to affordability, it doesn't get much better than the GB350. I'm not sure what it's like in other countries. Maybe people who've had experiences can share that with us here. And I didn't have to wait a long time to get it serviced too. I know in a lot of parts of the world at the moment you have to book in a bike months in advance to get a date where they can service it for you, but no such problem here. So all in all, I have to say that if you want a very affordable 20 horsepower bike that handles really well in all conditions, can sit on a highway, but I wouldn't do it for long periods of time, and I wouldn't try overtaking too much at over 100 kilometers an hour without a lot of planning. But apart from that, just a brilliant bike. So much fun to ride. You use all the gears and all the throttle all the time. So if you like to be engaged with a motorcycle and use every bit of its capacity, in my mind there is nothing better. So much character, so much charm, and I thoroughly recommend it. Even though I'm not buying the second one, as I mentioned in the last video that I had been toying with, so Riding Hood and I could go out on similar bikes, because I'm hoping that Honda will unveil the GB500 later this year, and I'm hoping that it's a single cylinder like this one. And that would be absolutely fantastic. Marvellous, as someone else says. I think you know who I'm talking about there. Oh, what a lovely little crossing. Oop, better get over and let this car through. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did like it and any of my other videos, please consider giving me a thumbs up. And if you haven't done so already and would like to be alerted to future videos and also help the algorithm for me and recommend my videos to more people like yourself who are into motorcycling, into the GB350 and other bikes, then would love it if you did subscribe. Very grateful, appreciate it so much. I look forward to you joining me next time for the next ride, next video. And as I always wrap up, happy motorcycling. Have a great day. It looks like a fun little machine. Got a good roll bar on it as well, which is so important. I've seen so many accidents with quads and things that have ended up being fairly serious. So it's so good to see that. I grew up with tractors that had no roll bars or canopies or anything. And if we'd ever roll one of those, it wouldn't have been a good situation. Because they are much heavier than a motorbike like this. Anyway, I'll just coast along for a little while now. Please feel free to join me and stick with me for a little while. I'm going to shut up and let you hear the sound of the bike. And then from the next video I do, where I talk in the helmet, I'm going to do it in a way where you get better sound quality, so you're going to hear the extremely excellent sound of this exhaust even more. Wow, what a pretty area. It's all work out here, vehicles, things.